People think they watch the Olympics for inspiration, the stories, the flags, the idea of the best athletes in the world competing at the highest level. But if you pay attention closely, there is another emotion hiding underneath it: tension. Because every time an athlete steps onto that stage, millions of people are waiting for the same moment. The moment where everything either works or falls apart. And something about that fascinates us. You can feel it in the quiet seconds before an event begins. A gymnast standing completely still before a routine. A runner settling into the starting blocks. A diver walking slowly to the edge of the platform. For a brief moment, the entire world seems to hold its breath. It is not just excitement, it is anticipation. Because everyone watching understands how fragile the moment really is. Years of preparation are about to be tested in seconds. And deep down, we know that even the best athletes in the world can fail under that kind of pressure. That is what makes the Olympics psychologically different from almost every other competition. It is not just about talent, it's about performing while the entire planet is watching. In many ways, the Olympics are one of the most intense pressure chambers humans have ever created. Athletes train for years, often decades. Their routines become automatic through repetition. Their bodies memorize movements so precisely that they no longer need to think about them. But then comes the Olympic stage. One performance, one attempt, one race, and suddenly everything changes. Because the brain reacts differently when the stakes feel enormous. At most competitions, athletes represent themselves or their team. At the Olympics, they represent something much bigger: their country, their family, their entire story. Millions of people watching from home. Failure no longer feels private, it feels public. That shift alone can completely change how a person performs. Psychologists have studied this effect for years. Under normal pressure, training takes over. The body follows the patterns it has practiced thousands of times. But under extreme pressure, something strange happens. The brain begins to interfere. Movements that were once automatic suddenly become conscious. Athletes start thinking about every detail. Timing becomes slightly off. Focus fragments. This is why even elite performers sometimes make mistakes they would never make in practice. It is one of the strangest truths about human psychology. The more important the moment becomes, the harder it can be to execute something simple. But the story does not stop with the athletes, because there is another psychological layer to the Olympics: the viewers. Millions of people watching someone stand at the edge of a defining moment. Part of us wants them to succeed. We admire dedication, we respect discipline, we celebrate victory. But another part of us is drawn to the uncertainty of the situation. High stakes activate something deep inside the human brain. Attention sharpens, emotion intensifies, curiosity spikes. We cannot look away because the outcome is unpredictable. The human mind is wired to focus on moments where everything could change. And that is exactly what the Olympics deliver, over and over again. But there's a deeper cost that people rarely talk about. For many Olympic athletes, the event is not just a competition, it becomes their identity. Some begin training when they are children. Their schedules revolve around practice. Their friendships form within the sport. Their sense of purpose becomes tied to a single goal: reaching the Olympics. Imagine building your entire life around one moment. Now imagine that moment passing in less than a minute. For some athletes, it ends in celebration. For others, it ends quietly. But either way, something unexpected can happen afterward. The structure that defined their lives suddenly disappears. The goal that guided them for years is gone. And many athletes struggle with what comes next. It's a strange psychological drop that follows an incredibly intense peak, which leads to one of the biggest paradoxes of the Olympics. The same pressure that breaks some athletes creates the moments the world remembers forever. Because when someone succeeds under that level of expectation, it feels almost impossible. Not just talent, not just training, but control over fear, control over doubt, over the overwhelming awareness that millions of people are watching. Those moments become legendary because we understand how difficult they really are. And maybe that's the real reason the Olympics captivate people across the world. They compress something universal into a few seconds: expectation, risk, failure, redemption. It's not just sport, it's human psychology unfolding in real time. Every race, every routine, every performance reveals something about how people respond when everything is on the line, which makes the Olympics strangely revealing. They show what humans are capable of under extraordinary pressure, but they also reveal something about the rest of us, because we're the ones watching. We're the ones holding our breath. We're the ones waiting to see what happens. So the next time you watch the Olympics, pay attention to that feeling, that tension just before the moment begins. It might say more about human nature than the competition itself. And it raises a question most people never think about. Are the Olympics really about celebrating greatness or testing the limits of the human mind? If you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday things, subscribe and stick around. There are many more human behaviors that seem normal on the surface, but become fascinating once you look a little deeper.